Guys, this is Mr. Tan, and we are looking at business strategy today. And the module outline will be a basic introduction, it'll be 10 weeks plus revision week, formative assessment schedules, assignment completion, and then you will have the submission dates and deadlines from next week. So the learning outcomes of this unit include LO1, which is to apply key strategic management concepts, modules and principles to analyzing different organization scenarios. So we have to use key strategic models and concepts and apply it to different organizational situations and apply it to what we've seen out there happening in the real world. Generate strategic models to analyze an organization's current strategic position and performance with justifications. So here we might be looking at models like the SWOT analysis, PESTO analysis, Porter's generic model, the BCG matrix. We might be looking at Porter's diamond model in terms of different international environments. And then LO3 says critically evaluate strategic management process and performance, applying a variety of your own strategic perspectives. So during the 10 weeks, we're going to be covering these learning outcomes, and we're going to apply it to real life situations. So really, the first question we need to ask ourselves is, what is business strategy, or what is strategy? So we can see some different definitions. A definition of strategy is required, and the most basic is the long-term direction of an organization. Strategy is the direction and scope of an organization over the long term, which achieves advantage in a changing environment through its configuration of resources and competencies with the aim of fulfilling stakeholder expectations. So there's a lot in that definition. And when we talk about strategy, what is the strategy? How are you going to try and stay in business? How are you going to make a profit if you're in the private sector? How are you going to achieve your mission, aims, and objectives of your organization, meeting the stakeholders' expectations and needs? So these things need to be determined, and the strategy is needed because you want to be in business for the long term and not for the short term. So that means looking at your competition and looking at what's out there already and seeing how you're going to position yourself in relation to the competition to be long lasting, to meet your aims and objectives in terms of what you want to achieve. So you need to have a strategy when going out there, because having a strategy is going to make you more effective, and it's going to polarize the whole organization to trying to achieve a specific objective. So strategy is definitely important. So what is strategic planning? Strategic planning is the way in which an organization agrees on a vision, of where it wants to go and what it wants to achieve. Okay, ensures that the vision meets the needs, of audiences and the community. Ensures that it identifies the resources needed to fulfill that vision, and allows sound decision making in response to changes in the environment. And the vision, in terms of what the company is all about, is at the heart of the organization. And that can set it aside from other companies. That can set it aside from how the people think about the company that they're working in to try and achieve that vision. So again, the vision is very important to polarizing, but we're going to be looking at the vision later on and some examples of visions as well throughout strategic business strategy and strategic planning. Benefits of strategic planning. When you plan, obviously you have your vision, and from your vision you will have your mission, visions, and values. You will establish, hopefully, realistic goals and objectives and strategies. Your goals, objectives, and strategies are to achieve your mission and vision, combined with the values that you want to achieve that vision in. It ensures effective use of resources, provides a base to measure progress, develops consensus on future direction, builds strong teams, absolutely builds strong teams, that everyone has a value in terms of what they're all about, and however they fit into that organizational culture or not, and it solves major problems. Its importance, today's strategic planning is more about aligning the interests of all internal and external stakeholders, which makes the judgment decisions of executives, whatever they may be, more transparent to everyone. Okay, so to strategic planning in terms of aligning the interests of all the internal and external stakeholders. Why do strategic planning? Focus on reaffirm your mission. Define your vision for the future. Where is it that you want to go, and what is it that you want? And remember when Bill Gates was developing Microsoft in the 80s and 90s. Bill Gates's mission was to have a PC in every house in the world. I mean, now look, we have powered laptops, PCs, mobile laptops, mobile handheld phones that can do lots of functions, iPads. So it's just taken off. If we look at Tim Cook from Apple, Tim's Cook vision of Apple was different to the previous co-founder. So what is the mission and the vision of the organization, and where is the organization going? Okay, so Tim Cook believes that for Apple, the mission and the vision and the whole organization is about the product. Okay. Who needs to do strategic planning? An organization, business that is responsive to challenges, sees opportunities, and wants to, serve its stakeholders. Any organization, business that wants or needs to sustain its operations in the future. How long do you want to be in business for? Is it 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 50 years, 100 years? How long is it that you want? So in order to be in business for the long term and to be competitive, because the world has become such a global market now, you need to strategically plan. You need to plan because you only have a limited amount of resources. You don't have an infinite amount of resources just to do whatever you want. So you've got to strategically plan the use of your resources to achieve your objective and your mission and vision. Any organization, business that needs to change in order to survive. Any organization that wants to attain competitiveness, any organization that doesn't have a plan, you need this. So we need to have a strategic plan. So what is the process? The process of this strategic plan obviously is first to determine the mission, the vision and mission of the organization, and then to align the resources and responsibilities for each strategy. This needs to suit your timetable. Over what period of time do you want to achieve certain milestones? Can be intensive or extensive, can be inclusive or exclusive. It requires a commitment from all involved. Can require some financing as well as time. So, who needs to be involved? Consider your location, your size, your history, the reasons for planning. And consider who you want to help and help them most. Consider who you can create barriers to your success. Consider, whether you can do it all internally or you need help from facilitation and coordination from outside. If we think about, getting started, formalize the process, purpose, propose a timetable with individual responsibilities, specific events and activities, and expected results. Obtain board approval and support for the timetable and process. Engage stakeholders. Document both process and product. Obtain board approval for the plan. Implement through annual budgets. Build a periodic reviews and updates. But even if it's not so formalized, even if it's just a small business venture, you would still do the same thing. Even if you were just going to open up a shop, well, what is your mission, your vision? What is it? How do you want to operate your business? What times are you going to be opening from? How are you going to make your margins? What is your pricing strategy? Again, how are you going to set the company up? How are you going to finance these things? So getting started as well. It can be either a small organization or a large organization. depending upon how we define and classify different organizations by the number of employees. Know your organization. To get started, you need to compile what you know about the organization and audience needs, your customers' needs. Benchmarking data from annual operations and comparisons to others. Results of listening sessions, focus groups, formal interviews and surveys. Formal self-assessments or external assessments. Know your organization, what it's all about, how it operates. So if we look at the mission, if we look at the mission, we can see that there's various cycles that go around the mission, and the mission will have goals. What is it that you want to achieve? And from those goals, you would have desired outcomes. What do you want to achieve in terms of your desired outcomes over what period of time? What are your strategies to get there? How are you going to measure these, and in terms of your measurement, and what are your targets going to be? The results which lead to you achieving your goals again, which helps you to achieve your overall mission. Where do we want to go? How do we get there? How will we do this, and how will we improve? So, what is a mission? A mission is a statement that talks about, what the company is now. It concentrates on the present. It defines, the customer's critical process, and it informs you about the desired level of performance. Or a mission statement talks about how you will get to where you want to be. Defines the purpose and primary objectives related to your customers' needs and team values. So, a statement of where the organization wants to go. Toronto Zoo. The vision there we can see for Toronto Zoo, will be a dynamic and exciting action center that inspires people to love, respect, and protect wildlife and wild spaces. So when we look at the vision statement, a vision statement outlines where you want to be, communicates both the purpose and the values of your business. Very important, communicates the purpose and the values of your business, how you want to operate as a business, which will then determine the people who are working for you, do they have those same values and those same purpose? Because if they don't, then they may not be aligned with your business, and the employees of the business can make or break a business because they interact with your customers. So a vision statement outlines, what a company wants to be. It concentrates on the future. It is a source of inspiration. It provides a clear decision-making criteria for the top end level of business strategy, and then even the middle management and low management on business strategy, trying to achieve your vision. Are they in line? Goals. The definition of a goal, Mintzberg 1997 said, the intentions behind decisions or actions, the state of mind that drives individuals or organizations to what they want to do. The intentions behind decisions or actions, the state of mind that drives individuals or organizations to do what they do. Objectives, the way the goal or the aim of an individual or a company is to be achieved. They are set out more specifically in terms of SMART measurement. SMART being, specific, measurable, action orientated, realistic, and time specific and time bound. When we look at core competencies, the core competencies of the business, what's the business really good at? Core competencies are capabilities that are critical to a business achieving competitive advantage. What are your core competencies? When Toyota came out with just-in-time management principles and continuous improvement and total quality management, these were core competencies that Toyota had incorporated within their business to give them a competitive advantage. In the 1990s, managers will be judged on their ability to identify, cultivate, and exploit the core competencies that make the growth possible indeed. They have to rethink the concept of, corporation. It itself, CK, wrote this. And when you look at this, you're saying to yourself, well, why? because to remain competitive in an ever-changing marketplace, and because it's ever changing, you need to look at your core competencies. You need to see how you can become more efficient and more effective, taking a marketing definition of a mutually satisfying exchange at a profit in the long term. So how do you keep making the profit? Yes, you can sell and you can meet the needs of customers, but then if your costs are too high, then maybe you don't have enough money to reinvest back into the business for new product development because your costs are too high, because you're not efficient or effective. You don't employ um, you know different type of core competences to give you that competitive advantage in your marketplace. you know when we look at core competencies, again, areas of expertise in an organization area, but are most likely to develop in critical, central areas of the company where the most value is added to its products. Tests for identifying a core competence includes: it provides potential access to a wide variety of markets. It contributes significantly to the value enjoyed by the customer. And it should be hard, for competitors to copy. Definitely. If we think about Toyota and the management principles that they employed in terms of just-in-time, continuous improvement, um, and total quality management, and they made their workplace more efficient and effective. They reduced costs and they made the working environment better. So they're looking at all areas in order to reduce costs, motivate staff, increase productivity, therefore, being able to produce their cars at a vastly lower cost than other manufacturers at that time. Therefore, allowing them to actually reduce their costs while still maintaining their margins. So again, core competences. We're going to be going into core competences later into more detail and using loads of company examples as well. Okay, so thank you for today from Mr. Tan from the first slide.